Greetings, everyone. It is the practical truth that one has to work to maintain an adequate standard of living. Therefore, the right to work is the most basic component of life and one of the foundations of other human rights. The UDHR ICE SCR defined right to work as the freedom to work in the occupation of one's own choice, and it is the responsibility of the state to protect this right. India is a welfare state, which means that one of the lawmakers' key responsibility is to ensure the social and economic well-being of its population. But protective labor regulations exist in India only for a small portion of the workforce, such as those employed in permanent government jobs. For others, there is little legal protection, limited awareness, and poor implementation. Though there are limitations of the state's capacity to enforce labor laws, in terms of in work rights, a good employment guarantee scheme would be an effective way forward.
Uh, Over the years, the government has introduced several laws, policies, and schemes to ensure the right to work of citizens. One such pivotal law is the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act 2005, which aims to provide 100 days guaranteed wage employment to every rural household in the country. Initially really successful, there has been a deterioration in the working of the act with the gradual decline in participation by vulnerable groups like SCs, STs, and women. Now, apart from the act, there are several schemes like the Mudra Yojana which seek to incentivize self-employment and entrepreneurship. Also, within the context of the COVID-induced economic distress, the government has passed four very important legislations that aim to reform the existing labor laws. Now, ostensibly, these laws have been passed to ensure better working conditions for the labor, but in reality, they are more in favor of the businesses and industries and allow them to retrench, lay off workers, to close factories without prior government approval. To conclude, there have been several schemes and policies by the government that address the right to work, but their implementation has mostly been substandard, leaving a lot to be desired, and unable to address the rising unemployment within the country.
According to annual labor force survey by NSSO, National Sample Survey Office, India's unemployment rate had reached 45-year high of 6.1% in the financial year of 2017 to 2018. According to Business Today, the government has not formally released report on unemployment generated by NSSO's periodic labor force survey.
It has been observed in the past few years that the schemes and policies provided by the states, such as Manrega, have really not been catering to persons belonging to scheduled castes and tribes. There has been observed a steep decline in the representation in the overall workforce. Um, One of the recommendations is to affirm a fixed percentage of their share in the total workforce, as they're the ones who uh, experience a higher degree of marginalization amongst all the people who are unemployed. Another recommendation is to bring a more sustainable mode of employment through the idea of schemes, through the medium of schemes. Uh, Another important recommendation is to change the definitions of employment used in many policies and schemes, because with time definitions get redundant. We've recently been hearing about many initiatives such as Go Vocal for Local, Atmanirbhar Bharat. These are actually a great shift from the dependence of people for employment on the state to becoming independent eventually. Because in this way, artisans, workers who have been fired from factories, would become independent and more self sustained. Uh, but it is a long way to go for the country, since we are a developing nation. Till then, it is expected of the state to bring in more policies that are more sustainable, and not benefiting for a short run.